Let's freaking go. You know we're presented by the Presley Collection and PresleyCollection.com. We have so much to get to tonight. Obviously, I want to start off tonight talking about Garrett Nussmeier. I also want to welcome in everybody to the live chat tonight. It is a lovely Thursday evening to be an LSU Tiger fan, but it's an even better Thursday evening to be a Liverpool fan. Obviously, repping the great Mo Salah tonight. Please cheer for us on Saturday. We had the biggest match of our, or not the biggest of our livelihoods, but it's the highest level of European soccer you can get. Been meaning to ask Big Al and Mick, when do I get my Pawpaw starter kick in the mail? Shout out to Jared and all the new granddad. We've had a lot of new granddads of PHL. So right off the jump here, I want to talk about Garrett Nussmeier and his future, right? Because you look historically, a lot of LSU starting quarterbacks were second-year starters when we won national championships. They were more experienced guys to lead LSU to the national championship. For me, I could easily see a scenario where Garrett Nussmeier starting this season is the best move forward for LSU, and you can kind of hedge two different things at once, right? You can go into this season if it's a dead heat at who the next starting quarterback is going to be at LSU. If it's close, you go with the younger guy to see if he could build up the experience to be ready for a year two national championship run. Now, you have always heard me preach this on this channel, that you should not, and I mean not, worry about the future. Just worry about the now. Don't worry about 5, 10, 15 years from now. Don't worry about 2, 3, 4 years from now. Worry about winning each and every game during this year, right? But it could be that Garrett Nussmeier is the best option for this team right now. And at the same time, it is the best option for the team moving forward that he should be the guy right now. Okay. And there is one very interesting stat surrounding true sophomore starting quarterbacks. Okay. So let me go ahead and put up a poll question. I wasn't able to because my computer's been updating today. I do want to share something. I am working on a Patreon. And one thing I did today, just to give you a little bit of behind the scenes, you guys do ask me about my process when I make videos. I actually was on a Zoom call today with one of the sharpest college football analytic gurus out there, and his name is Jared Lee. He's actually been on this channel before in the chat, and we had a 2-hour conference call today, and we are working on some projects. He is helping me with the project as far as data analysis is concerned for a few different videos I have coming up, and it will be a part of the Patreon content that I'll be working on. So a big reason why I had to update my computer is because I had to upload a ton of analytics software on my computer today. So thank you guys for being patient with that. Poll question here. Right there. Keep it simple for right now. We'll update it here in just a second. Next super chatter, you get the opportunity to pick whichever poll question you want. We say hi to Normal Guy. We say hi to Nurse Cord. Boom, I'm looking at you. We say hi to Marcus, who's a member of the PHL Booger Band Club. Gotta love it. So for me, I still stand by what I say about Garrett Nussmeier. If you just look at the quarterbacks throw the football, he's the most impressive quarterback. He just is. But obviously, there's more to it than just throwing the football with no pads on, no pass rush, or any of that. So it's a very fascinating development with Nuss. So yeah, I'm really excited about some of the stuff we're doing behind the scenes. We are doing, once again, that deep running back study. I've been over a week. I've been looking at running back data. I'm looking for a stat that stands out to me as the one stat to determine which running backs are actually good. So really excited about that. But for me, I feel as if some of the deep dives we're going to be doing, if you do like that kind of stuff, you are going to love what I'm working on, right? If you like outside the box kind of stuff, you're going to like it. Now, there's more than just Garrett Nussmeier that's on the docket tonight. Obviously, there are different analytics surrounding LSU football, and you see it in the title of the video, right? The analytic movement um, that's really out there right now is a stat called SP Plus, and it's been around for a few years now. I've always enjoyed SP Plus. It's a predictive stat. It's not necessarily a polling stat, and it's from Bill Connolly of ESPN. And what's very interesting is there are two teams that have had the biggest jumps in SP Plus over the past 2 months. And LSU is one of them. I want you to try and guess which other school has had a huge amount of transfers that is also a traditional power that has had a huge jump up from one coaching regime to the other. Okay. And that is the other school that has jumped up in SP Plus. I'm interested to see who you guys have to say. There you go. Look at Kedrick. Look at Big Al. Look at normal guy. But that's not a bad guess right there. Oh, I'm texting Jay Hill real quick. I'm letting him know that I had to take his jersey down tonight because of Liverpool's big game on Saturday. But yeah, so USC had a huge jump in SP Plus. Okay, so here's the thing about analytics: it's a lot like the real world when it comes to football. The uh, the one quarterback, um, the one position that moves the needle the most is quarterback. And whenever a quarterback moves, that's always going to have a huge sway in the analytics, right? So you're going to get a big jump in SP plus if a quarterback from a different school joins your school, because SP plus, a big thing that stat weighs is returning production. So SP plus is a huge stat. So LSU jumped all the way up to number 36 in SP plus. Okay. Now, this is what's really interesting about LSU being 36th in SP plus. The last two seasons, they were outside the top 40. And I've done videos each of the last two off seasons on SP plus. And it's part of the reason why, especially going into last year, I didn't pump LSU up too much, right? I was very skeptical about a lot of things. I did a week of videos on Ed Orgeron that wasn't well received by everyone. I didn't like to do it, but I just went by the data I saw in 2020 and some of the things that I saw in 2020, and the fact that he hired two first-year coordinators. That and the SP plus numbers weren't that good. But the one thing that SP plus does not account for is coaching, right? A lot of it is returning production, okay? And it does not factor in the coach. So Brian Kelly isn't necessarily factored into that equation, right? I bundled SP plus with oh man. But here's something that's really interesting. LSU, so they play 9 Power 5 opponents. Okay? 9. All right. A lot of you know the 9 Power 5 opponents are going to play. Okay? They play the other 6 SEC West teams: Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama, Auburn, and Texas A&M. They also play Florida every year. And the other Power 5 team in the SEC they play is Tennessee. And obviously, the final Power 5 team is Florida State, who they play in the season opener. Now, I want you right now to guess how many of the 9 teams, Power 5 teams on LSU's schedule, is rated higher than LSU, according to Bill Connolly's SP+. Okay? How many of those 9 teams are rated higher than LSU, according to Bill Connolly's SP+? Okay? Give it your best guess out of the 9. Okay? This is very interactive. I don't have a co-host, so I'm going to need you guys to carry me tonight. Will you guys carry me all the time? LA Mom, that's true. Very tough schedule. Okay. Interested to see what all the responses say. Marcus, I'm so happy you're back in here, and I also love the photo. My favorite PHL photos, of course, I'd rather you be in a PHL shirt, but my favorite PHL photos are the ones of you guys smiling at LSU events. I love family photos. Gotta love it. Pegasus, I know you don't love the background photo. That's fine. We're going to be fighting all week. That's good. Dang, Daniel. We do not condone illegal activities on this channel. Are you trying to get me demonetized? Are you trying to? Really? So we got 2 in here. We got 7. LA Mom says 8. Big Al says 9. All right. Allow you a few more people to get their guess. What's up, Kevin? Good to see you. Tevin, the question is, how many teams are rated higher than LSU according to the SP Plus Analytic? Okay, and what the SP Plus Analytic takes into account is returning production. Okay, it takes into account your recruiting rankings, and what's the other thing? I know it's those 2 and something else. What's up, Stacy? What's up, Brian? Right here. I'm trying to figure out who's going to join the PHL T-shirt club tonight. Linda, good to hear from you. I love questions like this because we get people like Linda commenting. I love it. Linda. Nurse Court says 11. Okay. So far, only one of you had the correct answer. We'll let you go for another minute. Ladies outnumbering the men tonight. Let's go. I love that. And Danny's not even in here. Danny, I'm gonna say, Danny, look, the lady showed up, and I mean, we all know Danny. I mean, Danny's a queen of PHL. You guys know she runs this channel. Talked to her a little bit earlier today. I didn't remind her about the live stream. Sabri, I love that name. Good to see you. Everyone welcome Sabri to the channel. Okay. So I'm going to reveal the answer, and the answer is all 9 teams are rated higher than LSU when it comes to SP+. Okay? So why is SP Plus relevant? Okay. It's not an exact science. All right. And by the way, Big Al was the only one to get it correct. All 9 teams. In fact, LSU is, what's up, Tony? Good to see you. LSU is back in the top 40. These last 2 years, they're outside the top 40. Right now, they're in the mid 30s in SP Plus. It changes every day. But it's not only that all 9. It's all 9 are in the top 30. So they're higher than LSU by a pretty wide margin. Now, what I want you to do is think about all the content that I've produced recently. Now, the single most controversial piece that I've had on this channel, and I have been mostly a positive PHLer on this channel. I'll be critical about some players, some coaches, obviously more critical than the coaches and the players. I'm critical about a lot. But the one thing that I said that I got a bunch of negative mail about was the video surrounding the win total. And you guys remember the video, right? It was 5 wins. All right. So let me put this up right here. And let me show you this. Let's share screen. And you guys are pretty familiar with this. If you want to see this for yourself, you'd have to get off the screen in order to see this. But I want to see this. Okay. It was this video right here. Okay. Remember this one? 5 wins was you see it right there in the middle. Okay. It was that video I got a lot of pushback on. How could you say LSU is only going to win 5 games? But that wasn't me that said it. That's why you got to actually watch the videos. My favorite sports website, or it's one of my 5 or so favorite sports website, is a website called the Action Network. And they have a good writer on there. His name is Colin. I want to get him on Colin. He's super sharp. And his Action Network win projection is 5 wins. That's what the video was centered around. 5. Okay. Hey. Now, why would the win total be so short for LSU? Well, one of the major metrics that Vegas uses, or if you ever go look at the SP Plus, so Bill Connolly does like these predictions each and every week of what the point spread is actually going to be for each and every week on Saturday. And it is unbelievable how accurate his point spreads are to the actual Vegas spread. And he uses SP Plus to set the Vegas spread for each and every week. And he's normally pretty accurate on over-unders and the spread. So if SP Plus is a predictive stat and Vegas's job is to set the most predictive number that would create action while also being relatively accurate to how they think the game is going to play out, well, it should make sense that LSU is only a 5-win team in the mind of the Action Network, and their over-under win total is set at 6.5. So, what does that mean exactly? Well, what that means is the SEC is as difficult as it's ever been. That's what that means. It has nothing to do with Brian Kelly, really. It has everything to do with how difficult the schedule is going to be. Okay? And you notice the avatar to your left. I highly recommend you watch that video. I predict the year that Brian Kelly will go to the college football playoff. It is, in fact, year 2. And that's part of the Garrett Nussmeier conversation. It's just better to look at that year 2 and say, look, well, if all 3 quarterbacks are equal, let's play the younger one to help him get the experience for us to make a championship run in year 2. I believe you just play whoever you think's the best. That's it. It's going to be on an exam. No, that's the thing, Pegasus. I'm learning all of this stuff today. Like, I not SP Plus, but I learned a lot about college football charting and analytics. And the reason why I wanted to learn a lot of it is because I'm dropping a big running back study pretty soon, and I wanted to use one of the fancy schmancy charts. So this would be, the question that I would get a lot as well. But do you think we're only going to win that number of games? So let's pull this back up. Okay. You guys know I'm not one to blow smoke up your rear end. Okay. All right. You see the schedule? You see my hands going up right there. So, George, good to see you. So, my thing for LA Mom would be, how many games on here are coin flips? How many games are ace king versus queen queen? As in, not quite coin flips, but 58 to, 58 to 42, right? How many within that realm of possibility? How many 60-40 games are there? I give LSU a 50-50 shot to beat Florida State. I give LSU a 60-40 shot to beat Mississippi State. At Auburn, it's probably 60-40 LSU. I just don't think Auburn's that good this year. But Tennessee's really good. At Florida, it's probably 50-50, and Ole Miss is probably around there as well. And really, you can make a strong case that the three toughest teams on the schedule are the three final Power 5 games on the schedule. Jared, thank you for our first super chat for the evening. As always, round of applause for Jared. He drops a 10 spot every live stream. It really goes a long way. Thank you so much. These off-season months can be very slow for yours truly. So thank you so much. It goes a long way. I got to do some traveling. So, yeah. Thank you so much. So, Jerry, you get to pick the next topic. I know some of you don't like analytics. You don't like this predictive stuff. So I will happily move on to more like current football related stuff. I know a few of you asked me about DJ Lagway. I think, I don't mind talking about 2023 quarterbacks. 2024 quarterbacks, I'll say this: LSU is in the lead for that kid. And for those that don't know, he's a 5-star quarterback in 2024. You have to feel pretty good where they are right now with their recruiting. Yes, Nurse Court. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it. I don't remember. I had something going on last night, and it was importante. Oh, I do remember. I'll tell you what I was doing, Nurse Court. I'll DM you later tonight. I'll just say it. I was doing some wedding prep last night. I know it's kind of crazy, right? Just chatting with Haley about a few things, and sometimes you get so caught up in this stuff, you just have to take a night off. But next time, Nurse Court, when you send it, I will join immediately. What's up, Blanche? Mick, I hope you feel better. How is Nuss a bus? LMAO. I'm loving the dad jokes already. Ha, 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 ha. Importante. It's one of my favorite words. I wouldn't be mad if they started Nuss. Yeah, so at some point, yeah, they'd have to battle. And, a lot of it, Marcus, comes down to how Garrett Nussmeier would perform this year, right? I just don't think oh, yeah, Mick, you are in, like, what is St. Lucia or something like that? For me, I just based on their high school tape, I thought Walker's high school tape was better. I do think he was a better prospect. He was. St. George, I've been there before. Good place. But Nuss is way ahead of schedule. Now, I'll share this just with you, Marcus. It's a secret. Don't share this secret because I'm saving this for part of the Patreon stuff. But I'll just tell you, Marcus. Don't tell anyone else. Shh. Quiet. Tevin, the quarterback I wish LSU would land is Nico, but he's going to Tennessee. He's the one guy I think for sure is going to be a superstar. I just think he's the best. The ball just flies at a kid's hand. Now, his frame is different, but he's going to go to that very simple Tennessee offense and feast. I think he's going to be really special at Tennessee. I hope he goes there. Number one, we would never have to play them. I don't think Tennessee is going to get to the point where they can play for an SEC crown. And the fact that we're playing Tennessee now, if we're still in this 6-game rotational, we don't have to worry about playing them, just unless we see them in the SEC championship game. But if I were to pick a 2023 quarterback, I'm taking Nico over any of them and not looking back. Nico's better than Rashada. Look, Rashada is good. You guys saw how much Rashada love I gave in my quarterback deep dive. Tevin, go watch my Rashada. I did a little Rashada film study in my last quarterback thing. That's why I always say you got to watch every second of every video. I throw so many different little nuggets in there. And if you can, I understand life's busy, a lot going on. But, I love Rashada. I'll say this. Rashada made, out of all these highlight tapes that we've seen, Rashada made the best throw out of any of the 2023 quarterbacks I've seen. And that throw was just insane on that Boise State blue turf. Rashada can really play. He really can. But anyway, Marcus, let me share with you a stat, okay? What's up, Dex? The truth is what a quarterback is in year 2. Okay? I don't have the graph in front of me. I could go pull it up real quick. If somebody super chats, I could pull up the graph. Okay, let's do that. Because it would take some time for me to go dig for it. But what Chris Moxley did, he's a really good analytic guy for Campus of Canton. And he went and looked at all the data of all the quarterbacks that were drafted. And he used the stat that I love to use the most, okay, when evaluating quarterbacks, is QBR. I love QBR for a lot of different reasons. I know a lot of people call it an ESPN Mickey Mouse stat. And look, I totally get it. QBR is not the be-all, end-all. There is no perfect quarterback stat. Some people just look at wins. Some people look at completion percentage. Some people look at touchdown to interception ratio. I look at QBR. Thank you, Blanche, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I look at QBR. Okay. Now, why do I like QBR the most? Well, it's simple. QBR is a grade of 0 to 100. So it's a scale we can all understand. Also, QBR takes into account the level of competition you're playing. So a good QBR is 70. If you get a 70 QBR, that means you're playing really, really well. If you get 80 and above QBR, that means you are really rocking it. 90 and above is like as good as it gets. So, for instance, Joe Burrow's QBR was 95 for the entire season for LSU in 2019, which is absurd. Yeah, it really is absurd, especially considering, he played his best in the playoff. So, he was unbelievable. But what QBR told us is your second year as a quarterback, as in your second year as a player, that QBR normally tells you who you are for the rest of your career. Okay? So in other words, his study showed that you don't really get better past your sophomore season. Now, some quarterbacks do, but most quarterbacks normally stay the same. Okay. And that was the case whether it was your first year as a starter or if you started as a true freshman to where you are as a sophomore. Okay. So, what does that mean? That means more than likely, if we see Garrett Nussmeier this year, that's who he is. Okay. Now, some quarterbacks do get better. Some quarterbacks need that first year of starters experience before they make a jump in year 3. And we have seen quarterbacks make unreal jumps. Obviously, our university is the best example of that. But the Kenny Pickett's and the Joe Burrows, you never really see big jumps all that often. Normally, the guy is the guy his first year as a starter. Now, true freshman starters are awful almost all the time. Their PBs come out at 50, like anywhere from 50 to 60. But it's very interesting. Blanche, you get to pick the next topic. Getting a bunch of questions in. Thank you guys so much for making this channel the absolute best. I know we're competing against some LSU baseball tonight. It is what it is. Let's see. I also got some blowback for what I said on Blake's show the other night about not talking about LSU baseball all that much. Huh? It's not that I don't want them to win. People took that as, oh, you're not an LSU baseball fan? No, I want them to win. It's just I don't watch them enough to talk about them. I just learned how great Dylan Cruz was. I knew the name, but I didn't know, like, we're looking at, like, an all-time great, like an Alex Bregman, Todd Walker level player. Okay? Let's go to Blanche's Super Chat. He wants to talk Jaden Daniels. With all the receivers, I have a hard time believing that JD5 will start. I do think he'll play, but I think you have to have a distributor at quarterback. This is a good conundrum question for Blanche. Okay? I think a lot of it, Blanche, comes down to what type of offense and, more importantly, Blanche, what pace does LSU actually want to play, right? Do they want to play at a faster pace? If they do, then maybe Jane Daniels is not your guy. If you play at a faster pace, it's hard to just continually scramble and outrun the defense, right? If you want a better thrower and intermediate passer of the football, that's not Jaden's strong suit. That's not just my analysis. That's what Tom Luganbill of ESPN, who covers the Pac-12 closer than me, and that's what he continuously said throughout the spring game. And the spring game footage actually backed that up. Jaden really struggled on some intermediate throws. But the deep ball, he's fine. And obviously the running ability is great. Like, you think of the best runners of the football. I think Jane Daniels is a better runner than a lot of LSU quarterbacks you've ever seen that were known for running. He's very good with his legs. And it's not just that he's good with his legs. He has a lot of guile and creativity. He's really, really good with the football in his hands at the zone read stuff. And for the most part, if you actually go back and look at some of the mistakes and interceptions he made at Arizona State, he would make the right read. It would be the execution. That would be the issue. So here's a good example of this. We had one pulled up here. Let's see if we still got the play right here. Okay, so here's Jaden Daniels right here. And this is obviously an open slant on 2nd and 6. Game in the balance right here at midfield. And, he would be the first to tell you that this throw needs to be completed. And you'll see the end zone angle. So, yeah, in a perfect world, if Jaden Daniels fixes the type of mistakes, your best option, mostly because of the experience. But secondly to that, it's because of the explosiveness in the running game. And you see the pocket here is actually pretty perfect, honestly, and he just misses. And you saw a lot of this in this USC game, which was to me is worse. But there were some games last year where he was great and the team didn't come through. Utah was the loss that derailed the team. So, as far as like the intermediate game, you would see those kind of mistakes right there, right? That's that's as simple of a throw as you can ask for right there, a slant. Um, but still, it's not really, too much you should worry about. I don't think he would make that mistake again, but he did make a lot of intermediate level interceptions. Now, here's the thing. Before the team went off the rails towards the end of the season, the interceptions just weren't there. So, what's good, Sip? Good to see you, man. And that's the thing, how much of that can be fixed before the start of next season. I do think a few things when it gets Jaden Daniels at Arizona State. And I know we're rehashing some topics that we've talked about, but we do have a lot of new viewers. Welcome into the channel. Big Al always gets on me about this. Please subscribe, please ring the bell, and that helps grow this channel. I really do appreciate it. And then obviously, thank you so much, Big Al, for this. If you go down below, you could see my newsletter link. And if you click on that, it's obviously a good way to help support the channel as well. It's totally free. I send you 2 emails a week. It's nothing invasive. You'll love it. I guarantee it. So obviously that all helps the channel, but the Patreon project that I've been working on is coming out pretty soon. It's a good way for you to get some bonus coverage. It's a good way for you to get access to me at all times. So we're really working forward to it. Now, I see a Lamar Jackson comparison to Jaden Daniels, and that's just not close. Huh? Jaden Daniels is a really good runner, but Lamar is one of one. There's only one of those guys that and it's Lamar, right? But he can make some Lamar runs, but Lamar's one of one. The boys are back in town. You go, please click that link right there. 21 mph is really fast, so it really is. Not many people get that speed, right? It's very interesting. But hey, if Jaden is Lamar next year, you definitely more 6 games. We're winning the national championship. He's but yeah, what's up, Cody? Cody's always supporting the channel, always repping the PHL brand. Let's go. Let's go, Cody. So yeah, I'll share some information with the channel. I've spoken to a few people close to Jaden that have become fans of the channel since we started, and he went through some personal tragedy last year in particular. So I won't get into that, but it sucked. So he went through that, and then the coaching was going through a huge scandal. Then he didn't have the same weapons these last 2 seasons that he had as a true freshman. So yeah, Brandon Ayuk, who was the best receiver in the Pac-12. Maybe Pittman. Still, Ayuk was really good. So He had him. He had Fred Darby, who's also in the NFL. And these last couple of years, he hasn't had those guys. So, and then in 2020, he only played 4 games. So there you go. There was a lot working against him, a lot. And I will say he had a 39 QBR versus BYU. I think that number's a little too harsh. And once again, I'm speaking out against my favorite stat. There was a lot that wasn't his fault in that game. And, he had a great game versus Utah, and they should not have lost that game. They really should not have lost that game. And that team ended up winning the Rose Bowl, or they should have won the Rose Bowl. Still, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's a little bit of a it's a back and forth, and we haven't talked much about Miles Brennan during this live stream. This quarterback battle is a beautiful mess, and we'll see in which direction it actually goes. Noah Kane. He didn't participate in spring, so he'll be coming in. He should be on campus now. So there you go. Let's see. I'm waiting to see if someone's going to sign up to the Substack. Please click that link and subscribe. All you need is your email. Each and every one of you got an email. Let's see. What's up, Zachary? Good to see you, man. I love this photo, Zachary. Let's see here. Got $20 on Miles being the starter. There you go, Amber Cat. Well, drop that super chat, baby. Let's go. Huh? In my opinion, Miles is QB1 unless he starts throwing INTs or missing throws. I feel like he's more prepared mentally to read defenses and see the field than the other two. I don't know. I would probably say as far as seeing different defenses, I would guess Jaden would be the best prepared because he's played the most. But I get it. As far as like a vertical passer, Miles is obviously ahead of Jaden in that aspect. But yeah, seeing the field. Here's what I say about the seeing the field thing, though, is if you actually go back and look at all of Miles's touchdowns and a lot of his throws in those first 3 games, there was a lot of them on first read, right? Now some of them were just incredible throws, and even if they are first read throws, they were dimes. But some of them also some of them also were Terrace Marshall just getting really freaking open and making amazing plays. But when Miles played, he put up really dominant numbers. I mean, the Mississippi State game was bad, but still, he put up a lot of passing yards in that game. Welcome to the channel, David Sargi. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Sargi. Good to see you, David. Welcome. And David agrees with what we said earlier, right? if it's a close bout between the three of them, why wouldn't you start the youngest to see if he can get the experience to make the run as a junior? But yeah, the Missouri game was phenomenal. Phenomenal. And it was also, and welcome back, Carver. Some of it was, Miles throwing on the run and making some pretty incredible throws. Let's see. Yeah, it's true. I could see that. If Mike Leach was our head coach, I might believe Miles would start. I could see that as well. I can. See here. So we're talking about Jaden. Let's hear from Jaden on transferring from Baton Rouge.
My decision in the transfer portal, it was probably the best move for me and my future career or the goals I want to accomplish. So, those conversations with Coach Kelly and them, I showed interest in them. They showed interest back, talked on the phone. Just had the opportunity to come play at the highest level, help a powerhouse win another national championship so I could showcase my skills. That's probably the most intriguing thing for me. Coach Kelly is the winningest coach in Notre Dame history, so, he knows how to win. He knows how to get his team where he needs it to be, so I wanted to be a part of it.
So here's what we're going to do. Next PHL t-shirt purchaser, if you don't want a shirt, it's all good. You can get some booger bands. You can get some stickers. Next PHL t-shirt purchaser. I'll give you one of two options. Bang. Leonard Fournette, Malachi Dupree, and Traven Durrell card. This could be yours. What's really cool is that this is a jersey patch. This jersey has been on Odell Beckham Jr.'s body. Next person that joins the PHL T-shirt club. Right there. And I also have a Kendall Beckwith autograph card right here. You want it, Jacob? Well, you why not get your whole family shirts? Why not? Jacob, since you've gotten a few shirts, I'll throw a few extras in there for you, man. It's Odell, Traven Durrell, Malachi Dupree, and Leonard Fournette. Right there. Jay Chillin's back in here. Good to see you, man. There are only 25 of this card out here. Immaculate College. It could be yours, LA Mom. If not, I'll give you the Kendall Beckwith autograph. The cool thing about these jersey cards is they really pop on your mantle. So, yeah, it's a good little mantelpiece. Also, paperweight. I actually use my cards as some of my favorite cards as paperweights. And as you guys see, as you build your collection, getting PHL merch, set something up like this. I'll show you this. Because I use this backdrop, or because I use this camera, you're not able to see the cards as well in the backdrop. I'll show you guys this one. Okay, so I got this actually from a card shop in Louisiana. Chucks. Let me show you this Marcus Colston card. for you Saints fans. Look at that. How beautiful is that gold? Show you one more before we get the Blanchard super chat. Look at that. There you go. Congrats, Jacob. So Jacob got himself another shirt. There you go. And you're going to get this jersey card. Congratulations, Jacob. Good stuff, man. There you go. Not giving away the Colson, though. It's one of my favorite cards. There you go. Congratulations. Service industry in North California. Good stuff. I always show love to the service industry. Carter, what do you think about the media saying that Freeman is going to take Notre Dame to the next level? So because you super chatted, I will dive a little deeper into it. Look, here's what I'll say, Blanche, about this. People stick with me because, I focus on LSU and the SEC. I love all of college football. I do fill in radio work for a Clemson-based station from time to time. So I try my best to keep up with all of it. So let's talk about Marcus Freeman for a little bit. So under 40-year-old coach, really good stuff. One of the few black head coaches, really good stuff. Representation matters. And he deserves it. Based on merit, he deserves it. He's been one of the best defensive minds in college football. And if you were to look on his recruiting record up to this point, he's killing it. So 2023 recruiting class looks really good for Notre Dame right now. It is still very, very early. And the classes aren't really full yet. So recruiting classes sway a lot when there's fewer numbers of recruits in those classes. So, I would be a little skeptical about that 2023 recruiting ranking. If they get Dante Moore over LSU and Michigan, that's obviously a huge recruiting win for them. And obviously, Notre Dame is centering their whole class around Dante Moore. That's it. Like I've always said, you look at someone like Jay Chillin, his avatar is Dante Moore, a player who might not ever even play at Notre Dame. So look, do I like Marcus Freeman? I do. He was by far my number one candidate for LSU defensive coordinator. And let's be honest, his wife saved him, period, from going to LSU. It turned out being the better option. And he ended up getting the absolute one of the luckiest breaks to get the head coaching job at Notre Dame. Okay. He is a silent commit as of now, Carter. I don't believe that silent commit BS. I mean, that just doesn't exist. He's a silent commit. No, actually, I think silent commitments are worse than actual commitments. Because number one, commitments aren't official anyway. So he could just be committed and still, do the normal stuff. But to silently commit, that means he is silent. Shh, I'm committed to you, but don't tell anybody. Really? Silent commitment? Stop it. It's nonsense. Do I think Freeman's going to take Notre Dame to the next level? As in the next level from where Brian Kelly had them? No, because the next level would be them winning the college football playoff. I don't see Notre Dame winning the college football playoff until they win or recruit at the top 5 national level. This is just the truth for any program. This is not just a Marcus Freeman thing. This is any program. You have got to aggregate a top 10 recruiting class over a 4-year period minimum. And you got to have a few top 5 classes in there. Now, obviously, the transfer portal is going to potentially change that, but you just got to have the dudes. And Notre Dame, with the academic restrictions and all of that, I don't know if they're going to have the dudes. You got to have some dudes, right? you know what? Sometimes it's like that. So that's the thing. The national championship window is small. There are very few programs that win national championships. So championship or bust mentality is always bad. I tweeted about this last night about the Miami Heat. The fact that they're not going to win a championship doesn't sell short the fact that these last 3 years, they squeezed as much as they could out of the roster each and every year. And this could be the third consecutive year the Heat lost to the eventual NBA champions. That doesn't mean the Heat were a failure. They did everything they could with Jimmy Butler and a bunch of undrafted guys and a bunch of has-beens. And Brian Kelly did the same, right? Do I think Brian Kelly's teams in the national championship games and in the college football playoffs should have performed at a higher level? Yes. They rolled over too often. The games weren't competitive too often, and that is unacceptable. Even if you have lesser talent, at least be competitive. And his teams weren't, but the bottom line is they didn't have the talent to beat the teams that they played. So you know, the bar is high for Marcus Freeman, but it could be unattainable. I do think Notre Dame fans, though, would take a college football playoff appearance once every 4 or 5 years. Especially since that's what BK basically did. Clemson, yeah, they started recruiting better. Yeah, Jacob, shoot me that email, man. You got it. Jacob is low-key becoming a card collector. I love it. But yeah, when you say the next level, it's hard, right? The team that you would predict to take that next championship step would be Texas A&M because now they're recruiting at that top 5 national level. But I don't see it. Oh yeah, okay. In the Tiger Room? Okay, Jacob, I'll send you a few, man. It's all good, Freddie. I know I'm being cannibalized tonight by baseball. I've had a few texts from people. Carter, I can't watch tonight because I'm so nervous about baseball. And I'm like, wait, isn't this just? And I promise I'll get back into football. Isn't this just the SEC championship? Right? Like, it's not like the actual thing. It's not like, and trust me, I want to win the SEC championship, but it's not like the it's not like the regionals, right? So, well, really quickly, I would like to know this: is LSU going to host a regional? Could someone let me know that? Someone smarter than me, let me know that. Here you go. See, Jacob is a diehard PHLer. He's able to multitask. See, Sip and Jacob are like, I'm coming to the live stream no matter what. And we really, I mean, really, Thursdays normally aren't as popular as Tuesdays and Sundays, Saturday, Sundays. Let's see. The Notre Dame postseason performances were more about a lack of depth, not talent. If you look at the regular season against Clemson and Georgia, they were much more competitive. I agree with this. You know, the Clemson game is a little strange, right? We know a little bit more about DJ Uiagalelei now and like how mid he actually is. And they didn't have Trevor Lawrence in the Clemson game the first time. And then the second time they got whooped. Georgia, those games were competitive. They just were. So I give Brian Kelly credit. They did go toe to toe with Georgia, but I think they still lost both those matchups. I know they lost to one in South Bend, but yeah, from what I heard from Nick Diaz, LSU will host a regional as long as they don't go 0-2 in the NCC tournament. So are they 0? I know I should just go look this up real quick. So are they 0-1 right now, or is this their first game? That's all good, Jacob. Oh, so this is the first game because that's right. I saw they had all the weather delays. So today's the first game. Okay. So who's on the hill? Is it Mekhi Hilliard? Right? Let's go, Tigers. Beat Kentucky baseball. All I remember at Kentucky baseball, they had that guy who was like the best pitcher and hitter in the same year, right? That was like 5 years ago, maybe. That's all I remember at Kentucky baseball. That's crazy. So type Y for yes, type N for no. You love LSU baseball. You watch, it's hard to watch every single game. You watch 2 out of every 3 games. That's how much you love LSU baseball. And or you keep up with it religiously. I think I'm the only LSU channel that doesn't do any LSU baseball stuff. Shout out to Anthony Renato, Lucas Coleman, Sean Ochinko. Remembers Leon Landry, Chad Jones. Oved says no. I watch baseball. Brandon says no. Yeah, I just can't. So we're about an hour in. So once again, I don't think it was one of you. We've had a few people jump in and out. Let me look at the poll question really quickly. Should Nuss start next season? Yes. Is winning the poll. Okay. All right, let's make it a simple poll question then. Poll question goes out to Jacob, our top super chatter tonight. True or false, you love LSU baseball as much as LSU football? Okay. So here's what I would do as far as college baseball is concerned. I'd make a few switches. The first one is you gotta increase the amount of scholarships. That is insane that there is only 11.7 scholarships for this sport. Okay. Now, here's the thing that I find to be very interesting. Okay. Now, I am somewhat familiar with the sports orthopedic profession. I know some people in this industry. Okay. Now, you don't have to know anyone in this industry to understand the physiology of baseball, right? It is a very taxing sport if you're a pitcher. Okay. Um, I have no idea why they allow these 9 inning games. Why on earth are college baseball games 9 innings? Why? That is hard on a pitcher, especially considering none of these guys are on full scholarship and they are putting a lot on the line, their futures, uh, on this game. 7 inning games, all of them. It'll make the sport more digestible, more watchable. It'll make travel a lot easier. It'll make the arms a lot easier. And I know a lot of you stone cold traditionalists are like, 9 innings. That's for the professionals. Why do we even need scholarships in the days of NIL? Because most NIL stuff doesn't cover what a scholarship covers for most players. Some it does. Most, no. I already follow one slow and more technical sport in football. Can't do two. Is soccer slower than football? I mean, it's two different kinds of speed. It's more constant. So I would say, I don't know, soccer game. I mean, Saturday's going to be violent. But yeah, if they extended the scholarship limitations, I would feel a little bit more comfortable of a guy on full scholarship putting his body and his arm on the line. But and I know that it falls on deaf ears for some because you don't want someone that doesn't even watch college baseball to say what he's going to say. But this is obviously an outsider's perspective. 7 inning games would be better. They just would. Bless my heart. Yeah, that's true, Pegasus. What's up, Nick? I hadn't seen you in a minute. Where have you been hiding? You don't, because LSU's already maxed out these 7 scholarships for 2022. But in theory, Nick, they do because of the new rule, because it's 2 scholarships less than the 85. So for the next year and from this point forward, there is no limitation on how many kids you can sign. LSU could sign 40 kids this next year. 40. If a bunch of guys decided to go to the NFL or they're a separate way. Now, could we ever see a recruiting class of 40? I don't know. Once again, if I'm getting a lot of comments, it's a lot easier for me to see your comment. I'm going back to see if I just missed somebody. Once again, always the easiest way for me to see your comment is Super Chat and Venmo Cash App. Obviously helps grow the channel. But if your avatar is a letter, it makes it harder because they do get jumbled up from where I'm sitting. Yeah, Jared, I'm basketball over baseball. Uh, and I'm a lot of sports over college baseball, to be honest. The LSU softball lost as well. What's up, John? Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. Your take on NAL. Are there problems? If so, what needs to be done? This is a good question. All right. So, are there problems with name, image, and likeness? Problems is obviously a very broad term, and with anything drastic as name, image, and likeness, there always is going to be there's always going to be problems. Okay, so let's go through some of the problems in name, image, and likeness. Okay, the first of which is legislation, right? Because the NCAA waited so long, there were no guardrails with name, image, and likeness. And what I mean by that, and a lot of people just say that, but let me give you some specific things that I think Mark Emmert could have done a better job. Name, image, and likeness was going to happen. And what the college presidents should have done, along with Mark Emmert, is ease into it and become more open to it as we moved closer to the day that name, image, and likeness was acceptable anywhere. And that way, you could have eased in certain guardrails to name, image, and likeness to make it easier, right? For it to be more acceptable. But we just honestly just started name, image, and likeness, and it was a free for all, right? So the fact that there weren't like it was just legit free market, anything goes kind of thing, it made it what it is now. Now, for the most part, Ja, I do think some of the issues of name, image, and likeness, as far as individual players making money, is overblown, right? Do I think it could cause jealousy in the locker room? Yes. If somebody makes more money than someone else, especially if you yourself aren't making that much money, it could cause jealousy, right? It's a little bit different at the like professional level. At the very least, you're getting something, right? There is jealousy, right? But that's fine. You know, you get over it. Money's good for the players, right? But what I think a problem is like, transfers, shopping around and getting the best deal. Good for them, but is that actually good for the schools? Is it good for the sport? No, but you get over it. Player getting money, I'm fine with that. If so, what needs to be done? Okay, so what are some of the things that could be done to help prevent this, especially since the ship has sailed? Maybe you can't do anything about it, right? And maybe there is nothing we could do about it. One thing I would do, Ja, though, is let it be known that you can't just outright buy players. Okay. You just can't do it. The spirit of name, image, and likeness is you signing autographs for your name, image, and likeness. You go into wherever and signing autographs and getting paid for it. You sponsoring Coca-Cola or something like that. But do I think college football is in major danger? No, job, because this is simple economics. The market will always correct itself. Okay, here's a good example. Right now, just for me personally, my channel isn't as busy as it is during the actual season. That's why I decided to take a vacation and get engaged. Now, I didn't really take any days off. I still released a bunch of content, still did live streams, But I know, when the season comes back around, I will have more viewers, right? I'm LSU football only. I don't do baseball, don't do basketball. I'll talk on that. I'll talk about Kim Mulkey, but I focus on LSU football, right? You know, I know my channel will do better, because that's just, a correction of how things have gone in the past. Now, could my channel just flop in a few months? Yes, but I doubt it. I think you guys like it enough to not let that happen. So I really do appreciate that. But what I mean by like a market correction is that there's no way all these companies are getting ROI paying, an offensive lineman $50K a year. At some point, it's going to even itself out, right? So let's just say there's a hypothetical out there that a group of players are all getting 100K a year. Okay. Could be happening at some schools, could be happening at no schools. Eventually, that's going to subside, right? Because not many players are truly superstars that move the needles for companies. Not many players are Johnny Manziel. Not many players are Tyrann Mathieu. So, I do think this will calm down at some point. I really do. And Jared, that's the issue. Okay. And Jared, you've been working a long time. You're one of the brightest guys. I know you make a lot of jokes, but you understand business really well. I've talked to you plenty of times. That's the issue, though. The NCAA should have known. And some of this is boosters wanting to swing their what around and saying, look at me. That player right there is because of me. I got that player here. That's going to slow down. And Pegasus, that's still outrageous. And I also agree with this. Maximize your current value right now. Okay. What I want you to do is think about all the great LSU players. Think about all the great ones. Okay. Now think about the ones that weren't Tyrann Mathieu. Okay. Tyrann Mathieu is now one of the top 5 safeties ever when it comes to salary. Okay. But there are plenty of players who had big careers at LSU that missed out on huge money opportunities. Right? Siren Black legit put his body on the line, played through injuries for us, couldn't make it in the NFL. Herman Johnson, biggest baby in Louisiana history. Who remembers Herman Johnson? You know how much NIL money he would have made? He was huge at LSU. LSU's had 2 players in the last 5 years go in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know if that's an argument worth making. That's the thing I think about Jared. A kid could have a career-ending injury and never make it to the pros. They have to get it while they can. So there you go. John, thank you for the super chat. Really good stuff. Oh, Jerome Bettis was good? I did not know that, Jay Chillin. I did not know that Bryant Young was good at football. Mm. All right, I'm gonna put Jay Chillin in timeout. Kind of becoming trolly. But look, so here was Jay Chillin's argument about Notre Dame's greatness. Well, we got the most Hall of Famers. We got Joe Montana. We got Joe Theismann. We got all these fictional characters. Blah 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 blah. You know what's funny about that is what I'm about to do is take his argument and spin it back towards him. Okay, so they just in the NBA they just had uh, the 75 team, right? So they named the 75 best players of all time. So back in 1996, they named the 50 greatest players of all time. Okay. The 50 greatest. All right. So we're not just talking about Hall of Famers, and the Basketball Hall of Fame has the softest Hall of Fame. Okay. It's the easiest to get into the Hall of Fame. Okay. So if you make the 50 greatest, or if you make the 75 greatest, that's really good stuff. So back in 96, there was a 50 greatest players of all time. Okay. I want you to guess the school. All right. It's not a school you would think. I want you to guess the school who had the most players on the 50 greatest NBA list. Which school had the most players? All right. Just give it your best guess. It's not a traditional basketball power. Which school had the most players on the 50 greatest NBA players of all time list in 1996? It's not a basketball school. Maryland's a good guess. No, it's not off topic. Everyone, welcome Duke to the channel. What's up, Duke? Dropping a super chat as well. I think, have you been in here before, Duke? Good to see you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. But really quickly, the answer is LSU. They were tied with Houston, the most 50 greatest players ever on the 1996 list, and it was Shaq, Pete Maravich, and Bob Pettit. And the other school was Houston, right? It was Akeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, and somebody else. Okay. LSU and Houston. Okay. They both have some basketball history. Obviously, Houston does with Phi Slamma Jamma. But just because LSU has the most greatest professional basketball players of all time doesn't make them the best program. So Jay Chillin's Notre Dame has more Hall of Famers than anyone else is nothing. Everyone, welcome Duke to the channel. A late super chat. I gotta love it. Ralph Sampson. There you go. No. Wait, Ralph Sampson. Didn't Ralph Sampson play Virginia? I don't know. I'm not as well versed on who am I thinking of that played for Virginia. Let's talk about the offensive line though. Yeah, he played at Virginia. Ralph Sampson was he played for the Rockets though. But still, the point is LSU, my favorite school, it's not the best basketball program just because we've produced a lot of good players, right? It doesn't mean anything. You look at Duke's NBA history. Yeah, they've had Tatum and Zion in recent years, and Redick was a good pro. But really, this is the top echelon of NBA guys? Not really. Not really. So, Duke, is this your first time? If it is, please welcome to the channel. That's really impressive. First time on an LSU channel, and you ask my absolute favorite question. It's about the offensive line. I really do love offensive line question. Thank you so much, Duke. That warmed my heart. It really did. Hope you come by plenty of live streams. I don't know if you've seen my stuff before. I guarantee it. There's not a better LSU football breakdown channel. There's a lot of good ones, and they do a lot of stuff better than me. But LSU football breakdowns, I'm going to do my absolute best just for you. Okay. So off topic, will our offensive line be okay this year? Okay. Let's start with Will Campbell. Okay. So Will Campbell is going to be the starter at left tackle. I don't see that changing. The Tyler Steen thing didn't happen. So he's going to be your starter at left tackle. I think the bigger question here, Duke, that is the more important question. And I don't know if Leonard's still in here. But let me say this as far as Leonard's behalf. He made a really good point a minute ago about depth, okay? The issue, Duke, is not necessarily the starting offensive line, but how deep can the offensive line go? Now, Blake and I have this conversation a lot privately, but, what's very interesting, Duke, is LSU's offensive line is deep in terms of numbers. They have a lot of scholarship guys on the roster. The biggest question that you have to answer, Duke, is how many of those guys could you trust? How many of those guys are playable, right? And right now, that's a really tough question. So let's do this. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Marcus Dumervil is a playable starter in the SEC right now. Type Y for yes, type N for no. That's right, Don. There's new ones coming in every day. That's why I never stop. Even when I was getting engaged, we were still doing content. That's why, and I got to shout them out again, PressyCollection.com. That's why we bring those guys on board. I've turned down a lot of these, sponsorship opportunities. But I said yes to them. And I want people that really believe in what we're doing. And Anthony Starr Presley is one of those guys. Hitstick believes Marcus Dumervil. Good to see you, Hitstick. You've been supporting me for a long time. Marcus Dumervil is a very key guy, right? If you could trust him at right tackle, you feel better about the depth, right? And then you get into guys like Kimo Makanele, and then you get into a bunch of other backups, Marlon Martinez and Xavier Hill. Marlon Martinez played some really good snaps last year. So that's the first thing, Duke, is the first thing is when you look at the starting offensive line, you have to worry about the backups first, right? So you go back to Breed's not in here, so you don't have to worry about it. So in 2011, okay, go all the way back to 2011. What made that team so great is that we had a really good offensive line that year, but none of those guys were like, truly exceptional talents. They just played really well together. Will Blackwell was an All-American, but we were deep. We had T-Bob, we had Lyle was buried on that depth chart as a true freshman. That was such a good group of linemen. PJ Lonergan and all those guys. It was a really good group, right? I want to get really deep. Greg Shaw, but that was a really good group. But what made them special was their depth. They were really deep. So in an SEC schedule with 9 SP plus teams that are better than us on our schedule, it's going to get physical. You're going to have some depth. You're going to have to trust some of these guys. And what's really scary about that, Duke, is, these last couple of years, even though going into the year, we knew that the offensive line wasn't that good, at least we could fall back on, at least we had an idea of what they would look like. At least they had a lot of experience under their belt. So now you have basically a clean slate. You have basically a new starting 5. And right now, Duke, this is how I think they're going to line up. Left tackle, Will Campbell. Left guard, Tremont Shorts. Center will be Charles Turner. Right guard will be Miles Frazier. And Cam Wire will be your right tackle. That is essentially what the starting offensive line was in the spring game. And that is how I think they're actually going to line up. I don't see really any changes. Maybe Garrett Dellinger wins the center job. That could be something that happens. We don't know. Haven't really seen him play center. I know that they are tinkering with the idea. We'll see. But there are a few extra wild cards in there, Duke, as well, as far as the offensive line. Let's start with me, the biggest, which is Emory Jones. He was my number 1 player in 2022. I am probably wrong about that because Will Campbell has looked so good. So if Emory Jones is better than Will Campbell, that's a home run, obviously. That's really good. And I think the last time we had 2 really, really good offensive line prospects from Louisiana was that Garrett Brumfield, Will Clapp class. Was that 2014, 2013, or 2015? It was one of those. It was a really good class for us. No, thank you. Oh, man, a really nice super chat. Thank you so much. Our biggest of the night. Thank you. No, you keep asking as many questions as you want, man. I really appreciate it. When these off-season months can get slow, and Duke, you are warming my heart right now. And last question probably can get a little controversial. Could you possibly give us your starting 11 on offense for Florida State if possible? Off-season is really boring. Would love to hear your opinion. Okay, so I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can with you, Duke. Oh, you're talking about our starting 11. I was about to say the Florida State starting 11. That would be tough. I'm nowhere close to getting to that point. Obviously, I was on a Florida State show recently, and all I know is their quarterback is Jordan Travis. I don't know too much about their team. I know they lost a really good end to the draft. Here you go, Jared. Hey, look at y'all brighten my days. I really appreciate that. But, Duke, to end your offensive line super chat, Emory Jones is so key. I think he's special. I really do. It's going to be, Will Campbell, and I know it was just spring. What's up, Pierce? Good to see you. What movie did you go see? Don't say Downton Abbey. Don't say Downton Abbey. But really, Duke, I love Emory Jones. I really do. He's one of my favorite offensive linemen LSU's ever brought in. I think he's special. But Will Campbell looks to be that guy. He does. He was so good in the spring. Like, he did so many little things that just really blew my mind. Okay, so can I give you the starting 11 on offense for Florida State? Okay, so let's go through each and every position. So I just gave you the starting offensive line. There's nothing wrong with Downton Abbey. Nothing. That's my mom's favorite thing, and she watches sometimes. So left tackle Will Campbell, Tremont Shorts left guard. Center is Charles Turner. Right guard is Miles Frazier. Right tackle is Kim Wire. So at tight end, I think they will start Cole Taylor. Not on fire about it, but we'll see. Then at wide receiver, Malik, Jack, Kayshawn, running back, John Emery, and at quarterback, let's roll with Jaden Daniels as your starter. Brian Kelly is a very conservative guy at heart. And he is going to start the most experienced guy. And the most experienced player, without reasonable doubt, is Jaden Daniels. Now, he's not the most experienced player at LSU. And he's not the most experienced guy as far as chemistry with all the other players. But he is the most experienced quarterback. And it's not even close. Doesn't mean he's the oldest. Miles Brennan's the oldest. Has nowhere close to the game experience that Jaden Daniels has. So there you go, Duke. And I'm going to do, actually, we'll do this. I want to see someone match Duke's $20 super chat. And we'll roll through the defense as well. If someone wants me to roll through the defensive depth chart, I will happily do it right now for a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Duke. I really appreciate you, man. You should be, man. He looks really good. The one thing I really like about Will Campbell is he did the Mason Smith thing. He changed his body in a very short period of time. Right? He was a little light, but he kind of filled out and got bigger for spring. Changed his body. Mason Smith did the same thing, before he ever stepped on campus. That lets you know that those guys are really serious about their craft. Not many 5-stars put in that work the way that those guys did. No, Duke, hey. There you go. So this is kind of a troll job to Jay Hill. Putting my $20 on layaway. Jared, you're at 20 with that donation. I appreciate you so much, man. So for tonight, Jay Hill's jersey was taken down because this is for those that aren't familiar, I'm a major Liverpool fan. They are my second favorite sports team to LSU. Tied for second would be the Pelicans. But Liverpool, it's Liverpool. So on Saturday, it is the Champions League final. We play Real Madrid at 2 p.m. on Paramount Plus or CBS. I think they're going to air the game on CBS. They should. It's the biggest game in the world. Okay? Oh, yeah, that gas. Inflation, I'm telling you, I know inflation is hurting us all. I've gotten so many emails, peers from people saying, Carter, I'm sorry I can't get to the channel. Inflation. Look, we're all going through it together. We're all struggling through it together. Okay? Don't apologize at all. Pierce, you're part of the PHL T-shirt club. Inflation stinks, especially with the gas prices. So it's part of it. But look, as far as what was it saying? I'm on fraud. Oh yeah, so Jay Hill's jersey was up there, And JL and I were talking this week, and he told me he is a Man City fan. You can't be a Man City. Well, he's not. He said he's a fan of the Belgium national team, and of course, Belgium's best player is Kevin De Bruyne, and De Bruyne plays for Man City, so he likes Man City. Pep Guardiola is one of my favorite coaches in any sport. So it is what it is. Now, here's the thing. I took Jay Hill's jersey down. Turns out he's also a Mo Salah fan. It's kind of hard to not be a Mo Salah fan. Mo Salah is like one of the most gracious superstars in professional sports. And he's going to score 5 goals versus Real Madrid. And we are going to hold up the trophy. So, Carl, I think they will stabilize. I don't know. I'm not an economics guy. I didn't pay attention to economics. I also know we have some crypto bros that watch the channel. Ugh. But Duke, welcome to the channel. I'm telling you, Duke, I promise you, this will be I'll say this, Duke. If you're a diehard LSU football fan and you care about Ruben Randall and you care about Terrence Tolliver and you care about Daniel Graff, if you care about modern era LSU football, this is your place to go. Now, I lean on some of you old schoolers, a little bit more on the Charlie Mack years. Charlie Mack's grandson watches the channel. Scott, shout out to Scott, big supporter of the channel. He's also a member of the PHL T-shirt club. Carl, what's up? Carl in Dallas. Love it, man. Carl, we got to go have lunch in Dallas. We got to go get some velvet taco. Topic of discussion, whatever you want it to be, Carl. We're just rolling along. We got a new viewer here, Duke. A big say so. Do you think we took any major losses with our outgoing transfers? Oh, yeah. I mean, look, you can hate Elias Ricks all you want. There's a piece of me that does not like the fact that you go to Alabama. Yes. When you lose Elias Ricks, come on. I mean, he's really good. But yeah, you know, there's some transfers that don't hurt as much. So, you know, obviously Trey Palmer, it's addition by subtraction, right? I think he's going to do fine in Nebraska. But there wasn't targets for him in this offense. Devonta Lee, yeah, it sucks. But, you know, he was an average blocker, an average separator, and he'll probably do well at Louisiana Tech. You know, were there some other transfers in there? Yeah, I mean, Dare Rosenthal, that was kind of before this season, this last season. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. When there's a coaching change, that's going to happen. McGlothern. Yeah, McGlothern's a big loss, but Bernard Converse is probably a better player. Well, Pierce, we got to make a road trip, man. Oh. AU track and field, Dad? Dude. Okay. So I'll say this, Carl. Who I feel the worst about with this inflation stuff are people like you, right? That because you know the summer is, or the spring season going into the summer, this is supposed to be your travel month. This is supposed to be the month you go for the daughter's 100-meter dash, or the daughter's cheerleading camp, or the son's traveling soccer team. You know, and you got to pay for cleats. You got to pay for, I mean, all that stuff's expensive as you know what. And, you know, it's for your kids, right? So it's part of it. And it sucks. I feel really bad for the dads in here, the moms and dads. At Pegasus, you know, I don't have blue chip ratio in front of me, but the teams that could win a national championship this next year is Ohio State and Alabama. Ohio State, Bama. Georgia, yeah, I mean, they get Jalen Carter back. They get a championship quarterback back. Their skill guys are really good. I like Milton, their running back, a little bit more than consensus. Clemson's very interesting. I'm a big Cade Klubnik believer. But is he a Trevor Lawrence true freshman, can get you there kind of guy? I would lean towards maybe. I think Clemson would be good enough to get to the playoff. God stuff. So for the economic PHL, my Milton Friedman PHL. Is that an economic guy, or what's it? Who's the big economist? Friedman Keynes, Key. I don't remember. It's kind of funny. Like, I remember my economics professor at LSU. His name was Dave Anderson, and he would say, I don't remember how I remembered his full first and last name. But he would say, hey, you guys aren't going to remember anything I teach you, but the only thing I want you to do, and he would say this at the beginning of every lecture, you know, I'd say, call your mom and dad every day and tell them you love them, because there will be a day when you can't do that anymore and you wish you did that very thing. And that has always stuck with me. So I call my mom every day. I text my dad. I mean, I'm actually super close to my dad, super close. But I text him. You know, he's not much of a cell phone guy, and I keep in contact with him a lot because of that. And I was close to them before that, but I make sure every single day to do that. And he was like, "You're not going to remember any of these terms," and I don't. I don't. Carter, really, how many times? How many teams? So I'm gonna say Alabama, Alabama and Ohio State, and I think that's it. Like, I just don't. I mean, Georgia's got enough. They returned some really good offensive linemen. Write this down. Okay, and let's see. USC. Offensively, yeah, they definitely got enough offensively. Defensively, I don't know. I don't know. So here you go. Not to get somber. Those are facts. Carter, mom is dead and dad has a stroke and can't talk. He's talked to Pops every day. It's the truth. Why do you think you guys hear me talk about this all the time? Why do you think I always shout out the super dads of PHL? If you're a dad right now and you're not involved in your kiddo's life, change that. And I know I don't know your entire situation if you just happen to be one of those dads or moms out there. Might seem ignorant. I'm just saying, change it. Yeah, Don, true and false. So, we started the live stream talking about SP Plus. LSU was 4th in SP Plus going into that year. So that's really high. I think LSU was a top 10 team going into that year. But you are right, though, Don. I mean, Alabama, in this sense, Alabama and Ohio State was so heavily favored going into that year as well. So your point is still very valid, actually. Duke, so I know you're new. We normally go for about 2 hours, but you guys know the rule. If you keep super chatting, we'll go past the 2-hour mark. Okay. Last question. Kind of worried about our secondary. How do you think Matt House patches it up? Really good question here. And it goes back to that depth thing, right? And who made the comment about depth? It was Leonard earlier. Depth is so key. So, Duke, this is a good question. And a lot of people know this because they've been watching me for a good little bit. But I want you to think about this, right? What has been the one position at LSU over the past couple of seasons that has been hurt the most? Okay. And the answer is defensive back. We haven't been hurt. We have been plagued by injuries. Now, I don't know if this just happens to be a thing or not, but LSU defensive backs just get hurt. They just do. Now, I don't know so much about the other schools. A lot of DBs just get hurt. What's up, Paris? Good to see you. I miss you, Paris. I really do. Defensive backs. Oh, look at this. She's dropping this. I'm glad I didn't have the 30-second limit on this one. Huh? There we go. I love it. Paris, you just missed out on this. I thought about you a second ago in the back of my mind. Pierce, I hope Pierce is still in here. I hope Carl is still in here. We just talked about Velvet Taco a minute ago, and Paris is the Velvet Taco queen of PHL. I miss it, Velvet Taco. But anyway, so defensive back is hurt the most. So we have to have more than just the transfers, right? So LSU's defensive back field next year is going to be comprised of 4 transfers as starters, right? 7 Banks, Mekhi Gardner, and Jarek Bernard Converse are going to be your starting corners. 2 of those 3 guys will start. And then your starting nickel is going to be Greg Brooks, and your starting free safety is probably going to be Joe Big Play Fouché. And your strong safety is probably going to be Jay Ward. Right? That's probably how they're going to line it up. Maybe you move Joe Fouché to strong safety and your free safety becomes Major Burns. Or if LSU decides to modernize their defense, run a Fangio 2 deep shell and have 2 deep safeties, then it won't really matter who your strong and free actually is. Right? What's up, Johnny 5? Good to see you. So it's a good question about the secondary. I actually like LSU secondary a little bit more for this reason, Duke, is I do think these past couple of seasons, Derek Stingley has hurt the LSU secondary in this aspect because they thought he was going to be available these last couple of seasons, and he was the exact opposite. So when you're heavily relying on someone to be the leader of a position that requires a lot of communication, requires a lot of consistency, and he's in and out of the roster, it hurts your secondary. But the number one reason why the secondary was so bad these last couple of seasons is because we ran man coverage on 90% of our snaps, which is suicide. It is a horrible thing to do. You should never run man coverage on every single snap. That is the worst thing you can do. And Ed Orgeron continued to do that no matter who the defensive coordinator was. I don't know why we did that. It's still the most baffling thing to me that a coaching staff comprised of over $10 million in salary over the past couple of seasons did that for a year and a half. But we did it, and we continue to lose a lot because of it. It's still crazy that we still almost won as many games as we did, or we still ended up being 500 because I would send LSU's footage to other coaches and be like, wait, really? They're doing this every single play? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm not, Bill Belichick. I am not Romeo Cornell. I am not some Dave Aranda mastermind. So, Duke, a few things about the secondary. Number one, we're going to be better because of the scheme. Number two, a lot of these guys are hungry to prove themselves at LSU. So, even though our talent might not have the same ceiling as some of our secondaries in recent years, it's really good. So, thank you, Duke, for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Oh, PHL fam, I love it. I need all our new viewers to welcome in Duke. Duke has been super chatting like crazy tonight. I really appreciate you. Yeah, Emma Cat. The issue though was number one, our defensive line was as good as it's ever. I don't know if we'll ever have a better defensive line than that. But really, number two is we were a little bit more exotic, and we also weren't playing the same kind of offense as we're playing now. We just weren't, and the offenses were good. It's just not the same. It's a different sport now. Plus, Corey Webster was just unconscious. I agree, Paris. They got yeah. Well, the DB thing is already looking pretty good. The OL thing, we'll see. We'll see. If the Emory Jones thing is a home run, that obviously helps out a bunch. But I do agree with the DB thing, big time. And we've already taken care of that. I hope so. And honestly, that is why Jaquan Roy is so high on so many boards. I think his game is actually better suited for the NFL than college. Roy, I think that's why PFF has him as a top 10 player. You heard me. And look, I won't get too deep into the Derek Stingley debate again. But yeah, it sucks that, he wasn't fully healthy. Honestly, it's Chris Jones. What's the DT's name for the Colts? DeForest Buckner, I think, is his name. Chris Jones, though, and Jaquel and Roy are very similar players, though. Here's the thing about Derek Stingley, right? As far as the NFL is concerned, I hate. Now, let me preface this by saying it's a really, really, really good thing that Derek Stingley went in the top 5. Top 5 picks really change a lot, right? Especially for your program, that you could sell a guy barely played the last 2 seasons, and he still went top 5 in the NFL draft. That's how big the LSU brand is. I will say this. I don't like where he landed in the NFL draft. Houston is a mess. They're in a year where they need to figure out if Davis Mills is their guy. That locker room, they got Brandon Cooks in there. He's kind of a quiet guy. I need to go look into this a little bit deeper, but when you think Houston Texans, you don't think leadership. You don't think they have their ish together. Now, Nick Caserio's done a good job trying to right the ship and clean out some of the rot in that franchise. But I wish Stingley would have gone somewhere where he didn't have to be the guy, right off the bat. Like, I saw some boards where, like he was sliding down to Minnesota. Now, that would have been a dream fit. Instant contender, tons of locker room leaders in there, tons of LSU guys in there. Patrick Peterson is in there. Justin Jefferson is in there. That would have been the perfect fit if he would have slid. But he was never going to slide because of his talent. And that's also true. If he balls out, it doesn't matter. It's a good thing about corner. I was surprised. There was a piece of me. Now, I will say this, Black Mamba. I have a lot of friends who do mock drafts very seriously. And I listen to every single podcast that they do. And they were all mocking Derek Stingley, number 3 overall, in the days leading up. So I wasn't personally surprised. I never really am that shocked. But I am shocked that that he went that high because of all the injuries, right? Yeah, Master Blaster never showed up. Thank you so much, Duke. So we do live streams every camera battery died. So we do live streams every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So we hang out here always at 8:05. Let me ask you guys this. Would you guys rather have a 6:05 live stream? Would you rather go a little bit earlier? I know 8's a little bit late. Maybe experiment going at 6 p.m. That's a good one, Don. $6:30. No. Johnny, Johnny is always busy at night, man. Putting in that work, taking care of Gail. You gotta love it. 6 or 6:30. That's all good, Johnny 5. You're a key member of PHL. We can't have the channel without Johnny. $6:30. Jared's not a 6 guy either. 9 to 5 at work. True Black Mama, but I'm not sure if there was. I think that has more to do with volume than it does like players wanting to leave, because there were such few players on the roster to begin with. Hey, that's good, Pierce. Where are we going to go in Ruston, man? We're going to go to Bovine. Let me. There's a restaurant in Ruston that my fiance goes to all the time. Trios? Is that the name of it? Trios? Oh, you want to talk some Champions League before we get out of here? Oh, man. Virgil van Dijk. I like Liverpool and I love Klopp, Salah, and VDJ. Can we get a final prediction preview before we go? So obviously the health of Thiago is huge. I don't think he's going to be fit. I think our starting midfield will be Hendo, Naby, and Fabinho. And Fabinho is also coming off injury. Virgil hadn't played in a while. We played the most games you could possibly play. I think we've played the most games any professional team has ever played in a year, which is crazy. So I'm going to go with us getting the W, though. Real Madrid's a good side. Obviously, Vinny Jr. is special. Karim Benzema is so great. And it's kind of strange because, I've never really thought, every time I watch Benzema, he doesn't score. So I'm gonna go with Liverpool, though. I've seen Real play a few times. Don, thank you for the super chat. So we hang out for a little bit longer. Thank you so much. Don, you get to pick the next topic. Who do I like draft-wise for the Pelicans? Chet Holmgren. I think that's going to slide all the way down to number 8. I do. Let's go, Tommy. Fish and chips in Ruston? You got 4-3 Madrid. That's a high-scoring game. You really think Virgil van Dijk? I think it's going to be key. Like, do we stop? Do we start Matip next to, or do we start Konate? I don't know. That's going to be tough. But not having Thiago, I love me some Thiago. The back heel to Sadio this past weekend, and this could be Sadio Mane's last game. Are you kidding me? He might go to Bayern Munich. Could you imagine Sadio Mane and Robert Lewandowski on the same front line? You want to know something crazy? Okay, so Don, as you come with your your super chat question. Did another LSU player enter the transfer portal yesterday? No, not that I know of. I think not that I've seen. There could be somebody that does, and you just don't know it yet because the transfer portal is like just refreshed oftentimes. So there you go. Old school PHL when we used to do 4-hour live streams. Hey, if you guys keep super chatting, we'll keep this party going. I didn't get to catch any of the NBA game tonight. That's fine. Mavericks look like they've lost. And Golden State covered tonight. How about that? Look at that. Don't talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold like that. But Don, as far as like transfer portal rumors, I don't have anything for you. I do think though it could be a player could be in the portal for 2 or 3 days and nobody knows, right? Normally it doesn't take that long, but still, the last player I know of entering the portal was Joseph Evans, and yesterday Deion Smith did announce. Okay, so this is I'm surprised. I'm actually glad you super chatted. We didn't talk about Deion Smith. So Deion Smith wasn't technically in the portal, but he was. He just wasn't academically eligible. Wait, he wasn't academically eligible, according to Brody Miller. So he's going to go to JUCO. Deion Smith's going to dominate in JUCO. The big story from this, so Don, is Deion Smith. This could once again be addition by subtraction. He's really good. He's really talented. But it's better for your wide receiver rotation to be tighter than bigger, right? And Deion Smith, if he was eligible, he's so talented that you would need to get him snaps. I prefer a tighter wide receiver rotation, and I think the 5-man receiver rotation that LSU has right now, with my projection would be Kayshawn, BTJ, Besh, Jure, Malik. I think with that, you have a really, really good rotation right there. And then after that, you got Chris Hilton and Kyron Lacey. And either one of those guys could step up. But we'll see. So, as far as Deion Smith, I think the bigger news, Don, about that is he did not go to Ole Miss. He went and met with Lane Kiffin. They shook hands, hung out, all the good stuff. And I thought for sure he was going to Ole Miss, and he probably would have gone to Ole Miss had he been academically eligible. So what a lot of players do is to try and get academically eligible, they stay where they are to try and get their grades up and then pack their bags. It's happened before. But what's really interesting about Deion Smith, if it is indeed academics, it could be something else. I don't know. But if it is academic, the craziest thing about that was he was an early enrollee. So we'll see. Jared, I'm going to try and do it the Sunday before the game. And I'm currently getting feelers for what the best venue would be. It's a lot more complicated than I thought. I was on the phone with an event planner trying to figure this out. I just want to hang out somewhere before the game. We'll do some type of meetup somewhere. But yeah. So I plan to meet hopefully every single one of you this Sunday leading up to the game. Who cares if we don't have tickets? I know a lot of you have tickets. I won't be able to go to the game because, I want to have a big post-game show. I don't know if Coy Moore ever found anywhere yet. I'm kind of shocked. But the issue is, there's 1,000 possession receivers that you can find. The scary thing about playing wide receiver at LSU is you're never guaranteed another rep. You're never guaranteed another rep. Stephon Sullivan was a really solid player. We don't beat Auburn in 2018. We don't beat Auburn in 2017, excuse me, but that's Stephon Sullivan. 2018, he was a solid player. 2019, never heard from him. Now he's a good backup. And in a way, he was underrated. But in order to play wide receiver at LSU, you have got to be exceptional. Can't just be good. Can't just be great. You have got to be exceptional. You've got to legit earn it. There are a lot of really good wide receivers. Had they gone somewhere else, would have been huge stars. Why do you think Trey freaking Quinn balled the you-know-what out at SMU? Probably a year and then back to D1. Yeah, I don't know what to say about Kyra Lewis. I don't know if he's good or not. CJ McCollum. It's unreal. Like, this guy just plays at such an unreal level. But, he played behind Dame, who is a top 75 player of all time. We were talking about how hard it was to make that list. And he's been in a Western Conference with Steph, top 75, Westbrook, top 75, James Harden, top 75, even though Harden's down in the East. But he's been in the same conference as all these guys. And that's not including like these Klay Thompsons and all these other guards. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, now Luka, who's more of a point forward, but still. There's all these guards. Drew Holiday. And all CJ McCollum did was max out as a player. Like, he could not have played any better. It's hard. It's hard to be a guard in the NBA and everyone know your name. Heck, Dejounte Murray for the Spurs is really good. De'Aaron Fox is really good. It's hard. The McCollum play was really good. Was really, really good. And Tyron Johnson was really good. Really, really good. And he's still in the league, I think. I don't know if the Chargers cut him or not. I would trade Zion for Damian Lillard. No. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Because then, you just become the Blazers, right? Because you know what I'm saying? Like Dame is a better player than Zion. But then you have no, I don't think I would do that. I don't and just I don't think I would do that. I don't think that the economics would work with that either way. Um, but the NBA is also a big personality league, right? Now Dame would fit in well with because he's had to carry a non top 10 brand for years. He would fit in with that aspect, but he wouldn't want to make, like a lateral move like that. If he's going to go somewhere else, he's going to be going to probably a little bit bigger of a contender, right? Like the Lakers or something like that. And I'm not saying the Lakers are good. It's just, he would go to somewhere like that. There you go, Jacob. Appreciate that. Oh, Jacob, I'm missing you a lot of good stuff. But yeah, I don't think that would be I don't think that would be the worst trade. I don't, but I don't know. I don't know. I just think with I don't know, because Dame is an assassin. But would he fit well with Ingram? Everyone show Jacob some love. I need some clap emojis for Jacob, man. Him, Jared. See if I'm missing anyone. Don keeping us going. Don making me work overtime with the super chat tonight. That was a good story about your grandson. Duke in here super chatting. Let me ask you this. So I sent this tweet right before the live stream. Sometimes I'll send a hot take tweet right before the live stream. There we go. It's a long live stream when we get on the low def camera and my camera battery dies. Johnny, thank you for the super chat. So we're going to keep going. Thank you, Johnny. Always your generosity helps us grow. So yeah, I guess we'll just go all night. I don't give a crap. Haley hates me now. We're fighting. I'm kidding. We're honestly not fighting. I don't even know why I said that. She just goes to bed. She doesn't ever bring Z in here anymore. Z is just so bad though. So tell me this. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Do you agree with this? The Saints are going to regret passing on Treylon Burks for Chris Olave. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Because the Saints passed on a lot of receivers. There's Duke. What's up, man? So let me ask you this. Okay, I'm not getting anyone agreeing with me here. That's okay, Jacob. That's the point of this channel. you can disagree. You can disagree about stuff on here. You don't. This is not like we're all LSU homers. We all love LSU more than anything. But you can have an opinion about LSU, and I'm not gonna hate you for it. Now I'll hate you if you say Joe Burrow's overrated because it's just stupid. But like I'll correct you if you're wrong, objectively wrong, and that is an objectively wrong opinion. But it's okay if you have takes. That's fine. Some of you don't think Jared Bernard Converse is good. Some of you, I know it's like just a random player. Some of you might not think as highly of Jack Besh as I do. Duke had to go to the store and get ice cream? Okay. All right, Duke, you're new to PHL. This is key. What flavor ice cream did you get, Duke? Jared, you're my boy. So let me ask you this. For those that say no, is this more of an anti-Traylon Burks thing? Is this more of you liking Chris Olave a lot? Or is this more of you trusting the New Orleans Saints brass and upper management to make the right decision, and they're smarter than any of us? Because, look, they've done really well in the draft. Dang, Dev is just dropping random takes in here. Heaton 7? Really? Their backcourt scored one field goal last night. Like in the they scored one field goal. I don't think Kyle Lowry scored yesterday. Kyle Lowry. Vanilla? Duke! Vanilla? 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 I got everybody on the Velvet Taco thing. So I'm a big Indian food fan. They do a paneer taco that's really good. No, Velvet Taco. I'm not a big like artisan taco shop kind of fan. It's kind of overrated. Oh, for the misses. Yeah, so here's something that I look at. Okay, this is just one stat. He had the worst yards after first contact of everybody in the draft. I think he's a little frail. I do. I don't think he's special with the ball in his hands. And you don't have to be, right? You don't, not everybody is freaking, Dante Hall or whatever. I know that was a random example. Not everybody is like a freak of nature with the ball in their hands. You don't have to be. I just think physically, this is why, let me say this, okay? If I were rating the wide receiver prospects of the last two classes, Traylon Burks would be my wide receiver 3 behind Waddle and Chase. So I have tweets dating back to when I saw Jalen Waddle as a sophomore about how much I liked him as an NFL receiver, right? I freaking love Jalen Waddle as an NFL receiver, and I got a bunch of, no, Jerry Jeudy's going to be better, and Waddle is going to be the best pro. I think it's pretty clear. Now, Tua is his quarterback, and he's not good, but still, Waddle is special. Jamar Chase is special. After that, I wasn't really in love with the rest of the class. I mean, I know CD is the year before that, but still, I wasn't really in love with the rest of the receiver class as everyone else. But I thought Chase and Waddle were really, really good. All right. I thought they were generational. I don't think Traylon Burks is on that same tier, but he would be my number 3 wide receiver. Now, is that SEC bias? It might be. I don't have enough time in the day to watch every snap Drake London's ever played, right? I just don't. So this could just be SEC bias. I would acknowledge that, right? But it also wouldn't be because, like, for instance, in 2020 coming out, my wide receiver class rankings were I did have Jerry Jeudy number 1, and I had Michael Pittman actually number 2, and Justin Jefferson number 3. And, Jets has obviously been the best. He's probably the best receiver in the NFL right now. Him or Jamar Chase. You would probably take in Dynasty over anyone else. Devontae and Cooper are probably still slightly better. You could argue Tyreek. Okay. So, I've rated, non-SEC guys high, right? I just think Traylon Burks is going to be special. I really do. I like Jameson Williams as well. The ACL thing, though, scared me a little bit, but it sort of worked out for the Saints because, you got Jarvis and Michael Thomas, and Jameson Williams is a true can opener, right? I really, really, really do think Traylon Burks is special. Now, there's obviously some red flags there. I've heard it all. He's overweight or Traylon Burks is an interesting personality, right? This is a guy who grew up wrestling wild hogs and hunting wild hogs with his bare hands. So I grew up in small town Arkansas. So I'm very familiar with the area that Traylon Burks grew up in. It is a country town, okay? And he is a country boy. So, I don't think he would, he didn't test the absolute best. I'm not sure if he was fully taking those things seriously. And I know I'm not making an excuse for him or anything like that, but where he grew up wasn't like where you grow up in New Orleans and there's 1,000 other great players around you and you're going to camps and playing 7-on-7 every weekend. It's a little bit different. He's a little bit different of a personality. He ran a weird, gadgety Kendall Browse offense. And yes, he didn't run a full route tree. And yes, they ran a bunch of gadget plays for him. But I would recommend you going back and watching Traylon Burks in the 2019 game versus LSU as a true freshman. And he made an insane catch versus LSU where he mossed somebody. And I'll never forget that. I was like, who is this guy? And I was like, oh, that's Burks. And I was familiar with them, being from Arkansas. I was familiar with them. But I was like, God, this guy's special. And he's been clocked running 22 miles per hour. He breaks a ton of ankles. He's physically imposing. He's got a little, he's nowhere close to, this guy's overall talent, but he's got a little Jamar to him. He's got a little bit of this pop in his game where he's just more athletic than everyone else on the field. But Burks is a tank. So I'm just a big fan of that kid's talent. Olave is not the same type of player. So once again, maybe the Saints don't think Burks is a fit for their offense. I don't know. But I just think Burks is really, really special. I think Olave could be a very good NFL wide receiver. I really do. But I think he got the bad omen. Okay. You guys want to know what the bad omen is? Don't wear this man's number. Why won't the Saints retire this man's number? I understand the lower digit numbers. They got to retire Drew Brees' number. I totally get it. You're not left with many lower digit numbers. And especially now that anybody can wear any number now, basically. I just don't think the Saints will ever have a good wide receiver in that number again. I'm a little salty about that. I was a big Colston fan. I always cheer for the underdog. 7th round pick out of Hofstra. Never made a Pro Bowl. What does Marcus Colston do? Oh, he's only an adult, right? How many wide receivers would you consider an adult? A lot of them. But all Marcus Colston did was act like an adult. You never heard him whine and complain about the Pro Bowl or anything like that. All he did was go out there and play his you know what off for us every single game. I could see that, but man, there were so many mocks him going in the top 10. Kenny Stills? So that's the issue, okay? I don't want Kenny Stills. I don't. You know, Traylon Burks, I keep seeing him getting compared to Demaryius Thomas. That's who I want. Prime Demaryius Thomas. That's who I want. Yeah, Andre Johnson was him. Cortland Finnegan, he almost murdered that guy. That's me, Pegasus. And look, that it could just be that, and this what's really funny about it is when I played sports, I wasn't an athlete, right? I was the exact opposite. I had to rely on little nuances of the game. Like I would have to watch film. So like when I played soccer, I would watch Andre Pirlo because he was the slowest guy on the field. He would barely run. So I mean, he would run a lot, but you know, he was a very stoic player. So I modeled my game after him because I don't have speed, right? So I'm more inclined to like the Chris Olave kind of players because you know their game isn't solely reliant on athleticism. But still, at Hofstra. I saw this though. Olave does run a good route tree, good catch ratio. But here's the thing though, like even when you look back at like let's say someone like Justin Jefferson, and you look back at how many tackles that guy would break, it was insane, right? I'd take a Chase Debo over an Adams Hopkins any day. I'm taking Adams and Hopkins over Debo, not over Chase. Debo's very interesting. Very interesting. I do think he's a little bit of a Shanahan creation. So there you go. All right, guys. I actually might partake in. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. I might just hang out and watch here for a little bit. So the games are on SEC Network, correct? So I should be able to pull it up on my phone. Why would I not be? Well, if I'm a fan of, okay, here we go. Now, Johnny, if he's that was me, Jared. High motor guy brought us lunch in a pail, son of a coach. Date your daughter. Yeah, no, that was me. I I reminded everyone of Danny Amendola. They called me Wes Welker when I. All right, so I am watching LSU baseball. Let's see if I'm caught up here. So it's 3-2, bottom of the third, runner on second. Is that right? Oh, Jay Johnson wears number 2. Very interesting. Paul Manieri wore number 1. So why do baseball coaches wear full uniform? Oh, don't hit it right back to the pitcher. Who is that? Jobert? No, come on. You don't hit it. Oh, let's go, McManus. I love that stash. Let's go. Look at that. Let's go. Olave is a better Cooks. And Brandon Cooks is kind of like the Marcus Colston. Doesn't ever get any respect. So tell me this. Why is LSU's defense so bad? Why do they commit so many errors? And why are we playing a game at 10:51 in the third inning on a weeknight? It is 10:51. Okay. Now, if you want to know, wait, why is my video not playing anymore? If you want to know, Joe Bear, Joe Bear. If you want to know one of my craziest college baseball memory, okay. So once again, these games should be 7 innings. To make these guys play these tournaments at a neutral site with all the rain and play full 9-inning games when this isn't even the big kahuna here. Why? What's up, Jobert? Okay. It's the top of the fourth. It's okay, Pegasus. We'll fight on Saturday night. I might just be on the lookout for this. I might move the live stream to Sunday. It just depends on my state of mind on set. Actually, we'll just do the live stream on Sunday night. I don't think you want me to, because if we lose, I'm not gonna be able to do a live stream. I'm not, especially after this past Saturday or past Sunday, whatever. But I'll share with you this story. So, Arkansas played in a super regional. God, I think this was 5 years ago. Jacob, I'll look into it. Let me see. Put a note. So I'll share this story. If you are a college baseball fan, you'll like this story. All right, Pegasus, have a good one. So a few years ago, this is why I'm such a big proponent of the 7-inning game. All right. We were, so I was doing radio in Arkansas, and they paid for me to do my show at the Super Regional. So I had a little studio set up at my buddy's house, and I would go cover the games and then get up at my radio show was from 6 to 8 in the morning. Okay. So I went to the game 2 of the Super Regional. All right. And the game first pitch was at 8 o'clock. So there was a rain delay. Then they delayed the game again. All right. So what happened was I left the stadium because I thought, all right, they're delaying the game at 10:30. All right. It was the 3rd inning, I believe. I get a text at midnight saying that they were going to resume play. Okay. Or was it at 10? I don't remember. I think it was at 10:30 they resumed play. Still, it was the 3rd inning and they resumed play at like 11 p.m. The 3rd inning. So I have to go back to the ball field because, that was part of the contract, right? The sponsors paid for me to go to the games. So I drove back to the baseball field, and it's crazy, right? So I get back to the ball field, and then there's another rain delay. Play resumes at 1 in the morning. It is 1 in the morning. And the game ended at 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. A baseball game. A 9-inning college baseball game. When they could have just played a doubleheader the next day. So Arkansas won the game, and they played a game 3 the next day. None of the players got home until 5 in the morning. So they had to get up and play another game the next day. And Arkansas's hitters, like their 1 through 6, went like 0 for 19. They couldn't sleep. It still blows my mind that college baseball still has 9-inning games. And with these rain delays, they're still like, we're playing a full 9. I don't know, Jared. I'm glad you commented. I do need to get a haircut often. Winston's probably the best quarterback that Landry's ever played with in the NFL. Is Winston better than Baker Mayfield? I would say so. Then Jarvis was with Ryan Tannehill before that. Is Jameis better? I don't know if Jameis is better than Tennessee Titans Ryan Tannehill. But Jameis right now is better than Miami Dolphins Tannehill. So I would agree with that. Let me know. Because this game is not going to end. We're in the top of the 4th. This game it's 11 p.m. This game will not end until, what, 12:30? There's still a good hour and a half, especially considering that this game is really close. So, because this game's really close, there's going to be a lot of pitching changes, pitchers, all that stuff. And it's still early in the tournament, so both these teams have got to make a bunch of pitching changes, right? To preserve arms. I don't know. Actually, no, you would want your starter to go longer. I don't know. I don't know how you even prep for this stuff. How do you let a catcher who bats eighth get a 2-run homer on you earlier in the game? Oh, this is a catcher roping us. How do we let the catcher rope us? That's not Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. It went 17 innings. Y'all want to stay up and watch? There's 25 of you in here. I don't know how there's still 25 of you, but I appreciate you. Y'all want to stay up and watch? Oh, that's pretty good for your 9-hole hitter to have 12 home runs. 12 home runs? 9-hole hitter? That's some good power for a college baseball team. Peter, Sip G might be watching it too. Someone text Sip G. I don't have Sip G's number. Tell him to get back in here. I want to show you one of my Joey B's while we wait for this pitching change. Jacob says he's got you, man. Take this out. Take a look at this, Joe. The design of this card is what I love about it. I kind of want to get the silver version of this card. Show it to you. Oh, I don't have my fancy camera, so it's kind of hard to see. It's probably my favorite Joe. I got a few other Joes that I like. It's a little bit on the lower end. The Joe, man. It's one of his lower rookie cards. Been in PSA 10. I'll show you this one. Right here. This one's another cheap one. You can Purple Wave. Love this one. This is one. This one I just got back. It's the only card I ever sent to PSA. And at 9, I hoped it was a 10. So 10's the best grade you can get. Tyrann Mathieu rookie auto. I know I'm such a nerd. Huh? It's Tyrann Mathieu. I love this one right here. The red pulsar color match. Look at that. Yeah, that shines. Short print. Gotta love it. But yeah, mostly low end stuff. I don't have any of the big $5,000 bro cards. I don't. I want to see what's on the top shelf. All right. Oh, they got bases loaded now. 2 outs. Okay, so top shelf is a bunch of. I have a Shaquille O'Neal headliner right there. Let me see what happens on this pitch right here. Okay, so let's see what we got here. All right. So this is my favorite Jay Hill card right here. He's autographed and sent me some stuff as well, but this one I just got super cheap for this. And what's really cool about this one is there's only 75 of these variations out there, but not many in this casing. So that makes this card relatively rare. So I'm going to show you my favorite Tyrann Mathieu card really quickly here. So here's one of them. So this is one of my favorite Tyrann Mathieu's right here. There we go. LSU got out of the inning. Good stuff. So let me show you my favorite. This is my favorite Drew Brees card. Okay. So what I like about these older cards. Okay. So this is a Drew Brees card from 07. Okay. So, what's really cool about like some of the older cards is they actually used to get the chunks of their jersey and that they wore in actual games into the card. Okay. So what makes this Drew Brees card, and this is my biggest Brees, I got it for I think $40. What makes it this interesting is this Drew Brees card consists of 6 different colors and 2 different jersey patch cards. So what makes it very interesting is this was a game worn card. Okay. Now, there's a difference between a game worn and a player worn. So the card that Jacob won tonight, while it's super cool, the newer versions of the card aren't game worn jerseys. Newer cards, they just put the jersey on the player and the player gets the jersey back. But it is guaranteed that this card was worn by all 4 of these players. So, Jacob, this card right here is actually one of my favorite cards because what makes it very unique is this is the only card, Jacob, that I had that had 4 different players' jerseys all on the same card. Now, obviously, Odell and Fournette are the legends here, but Dupree and Durrell were good players as well. And as you know, all 4 of these guys are South Louisiana guys. So Durrell is Bro Bridge, and the other 3 are New Orleans guys. So that's obviously really cool. But yeah, so what makes this Drew Brees card really rare is that this card was from 2008. So this consists of a card that Drew Brees wore in his rookie year with the Saints, or his first year with the Saints, or his second year with the Saints, right? So that makes this card, to me, very valuable. So some and here's something else I like about your card, Jacob, is the quality of the patch also matters in card collecting. So you want as many colors in your patch as you possibly want. Okay, so for instance, and the game's still going on, bottom of the fourth, Gavin Dugas, is that how you say his name? So Jacob, this is actually a really nice patch. So your Fournette patch is all actually you get two colors in this patch. So all these you can't really see it, but you got an 8-color patch card. That's actually really good. So what makes this Drew Brees patch special is you see here, you get a good patch. So this was a part of like the jersey number. So that's what makes it very interesting. So I'll show you this card as well. Here's a Joe Burrow patch. This is my only Burrow patch card right here. Okay. So here's a Joe Burrow patch card. You see, this is a 1-color patch card. It's still cool. So, you know, it's cool. It's a patch. It looks nice. It's fancy. But it's still not as cool to me as the vintage Drew Brees. I just got to ask you in from Nicole. So there you go. This is actually one of my favorite cards in the collection right here. And I actually got this card the same day I got that Colson card. This is definitely one of my favorites right here. I'll probably never give this one away. I don't know if Jacob keeps getting shirts. I might send you this. Doubt it. Here's one of my more expensive cards right here. Jerry Rice card. This is his rookie card. Nothing really too fancy about this. There's plenty of his rookies out there. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. I like Jerry Rice. There you go. Good hit right there. Still not really that crazy. I think I got this for $250 or something like that. And I think they go for about that now. This is when I was first starting. I wanted to get, this is my favorite set, 1986 Topps. I have the full set up there. And yeah, that's what being a sports card nerd is like. That's why I have a football card podcast. And if you want the link to that, I'm more than happy to send it to you. So there you go. That's why I miss like the old school camera, because you could see the cards a little bit better. There you go. But that's the thing, these cards that are up here, I've given away some of these and just replaced them with others. These are, this is what I would call like my main personal collection right here. And I keep, I take more stuff out of it every day and just give it away. So yeah, it's the point of it. I kind of don't want to send this one to Jacob anymore, because this is really rare to get 4 different players, and this is numbered to 25. So yeah. And you got a Jarvis Landry card too. Never share your bank accounts. So I'll finish out this inning. Feel free to super chat if you may. But if not, I don't mind chilling. But here's what's really cool about, card collecting. They make such a big deal now about like investing and flipping and all that stuff. My bank account after this England trip, especially now with the inflation we talked about, I'm penny pinching right now. So look, you can get really cheap cards though, right? So this is actually a card that I like a lot. I don't know why exactly, but this is just a cool card. I'm not even a Broncos fan. It's just Ed McCaffrey, John Elway, and Rod Smith. There's another Breeze card right here. This was a weird card. I don't have any Marcus Randall cards. So, yeah, let me see what else I have sitting around here. Any Derek Jeter fans out there? Here's a Jeter fan that looks cool. Talking some baseball. Derek Jeter's my favorite athlete of all time. Grew up idolizing that man. Comic book collecting is a thing. It's kind of hit a wave again. Biracial. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, look at this pitcher's name. Zach Lee. No, Paris. Warriors. I want to play this really quickly. Okay. I need something to jolt me through to get through to the next inning.
That a reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen, and it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, and the parity in college football he's been talking about, go talk to coaches who coach for him. You'll find out all the parity. Go dig into wherever he's been. You can find out anything. And it's a shame that you got to sit here and defend 17-year-old kids and families. And Texas A&M, because we do things right, we're always going to do things right. But we're always going to be here. We're doing a heck of a job. These coaches have done a great job. Our players have done a great job. The whole organization of recruiting people. It's despicable that we got to sit here at this level of ball and say these things to defend the people of this organization, the kids, 17-year-old kids, and their families. It's amazing. Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out about a guy that a lot of things you don't want to know. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past or anybody that's ever coached with him. You can find out anything you want to find out, what he does and how he does it. And it's despicable.
Here's the thing, Jimbo lied so much in that. He said, go dig into his past. You'll find some things you don't want to find out. So the funny thing is, what are those things? Everybody wants to find out what actually happened. Oh, that was a great throw home. That center fielder has a cannon. I'm a little bit behind you guys. He still probably should have hit the cutoff with one out to keep the double play in order there. But that center fielder has a cannon. God. That's good baseball right there. LSU baseball's up 4-2. Well, all right, guys. I know, Pierce. I did my first analytics, like my first deep dive into our studio, which is like the big football analytics thing today. So yeah. So once again, and know we've lost quite a few viewers because we are super late into this. I'm actually not getting tired at all. I could keep going. They'll probably, I don't know. I'm so far behind you guys on the stream, but you know, for me, I'm working on a lot of Patreon stuff, so it's going to be like exclusive stuff, and it's a good way to support the channel. And it'll be like deeper film study, deep dive kind of stuff, right? I get this question all the time about how do you do the film studies? How do you break it down? All that stuff. And so that's going to be the point of that. But there's going to be a lot of other stuff. There'll be opportunities to FaceTime with me one-on-one and all that stuff. So I'm working on all that. And it's a lot of fun. Oh, dang, LSU baseball. Okay. Let's go. Oh, dang, it still says 5-2 on mine. Oh, the shortstop wears jersey number 47. Well, that's why I didn't make that play. Shortstop's got to be a single-digit number. That's my policy. You can't wear number 47 to play shortstop. It weighs you down. Let's go. Yeah, Michael, I'm actually gonna you'll see why I push back on it. No. He was safe there? Huh? That slide was insane. Oh, that bunt sucked. No. so tight. Holy crap, that's so close. Oh, the umpire's mic'd up. I don't have the volume. Oh, the umpires have a mic? That's crazy. Oh, I guess they grounded into a double time. I know, Johnny. It's going to be fun, man. The Embry Jones show. Trey Morgan. I know he grounds into a double play here. But every time I watch Trey Morgan play, he always does something special. Like I saw him had that game-winning hit. Oh, dang. I must be really behind then. Trey Morgan did his job there. Get the runner over. All right. I said I'd go till the end of the inning. Now Welsh is out of Lafayette. The corner from Texas is also coming. The corner from Georgia didn't stay, Jadarian Rom. He ended up going to Auburn, I think. So there you go. All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoy the rest of this LSU baseball game. I'm going to try and go to bed. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up. You're going to absolutely love it. Congrats to our top super chatters tonight. Jacob, obviously leading the way, getting a bunch of cards, sending a bunch of good stuff. And we shall talk to you guys soon. Let's see. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. And tonight, hey, it's taco soup, baby. Let's